We began the show talking about Kamala Harris, and I am loath to end the show also talking about Kamala Harris, but that's the situation we find ourselves in. Except I'm going to do something different this time around, something unprecedented, at least for me. I'm going to defend her. There are many valid reasons to criticize Kamala. She's incompetent, unfit for office, dishonest, morally corrupt, never accomplished anything, and so on. All of that might be true, but I'm all about fairness on this show. And in fairness, I think it must be said that Kamala doesn't get enough credit for her eloquence. In fact, she's accused of being ineloquent, even incoherent most of the time. And I think the people who make such accusations are being, frankly, intentionally obtuse. They can understand what Kamala is saying. They just pretend that they can't. And today I want to talk about a specific example. So this past weekend, Kamala sat down for an interview with 60 Minutes. And during the course of that conversation, she was asked about the situation in the Middle East. Her response has now gone viral on social media for all the wrong reasons. Many people are claiming that in response to the question, she served up a heaping portion of word salad, one so confused and disjointed and unwieldy that it's shocking even by her standards. Now I'm going to play the longer version of this clip so you get the full context. The alleged word salad comes in the last 20 seconds, but here's the whole thing. Listen.
Does the U.S. have no sway over Prime Minister Netanyahu?
The aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question, our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
So there you go. Everyone's having a good laugh over that. And let's refer to the transcript. She says, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. So that's about a 40-word sentence, which is rather long by the standards of the English language. No punctuation in that sentence either. But keep something in mind. Some of the greatest writers of American fiction, Cormac McCarthy, for instance, were known for their epically long sentences and sparse use of punctuation. Cormac McCarthy was a brilliant, eloquent, and lyrical writer, which are all adjectives that some people might use to describe Kamala Harris. I've never known anyone who would describe her that way, but some people might. Now, Kamala's critics are pretending that they can't understand what she was trying to say there at the end, but I think they're being really unfair, and I'll prove it. So let's break this down, okay? You weren't expecting this, but this is going to be a full defense, in-depth defense of Kamala Harris, piece by piece. So she begins, the work that we have done. What kind of work? Well, it doesn't matter, the work, some sort of work. And we are doing work, aren't we? Can you deny that we, whoever we are in this context, are doing work? The definition of work is activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. So we're all doing work of some kind every second of the day, arguably. When you walk down the steps, you're doing work. When you eat lunch, you're doing work. We're always doing work. We're rarely not doing work. And that's the point that Kamala is making here. She continues, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements. Again, her critics will be disingenuous and demand to know what kind of work and what kind of movements. They're getting hung up on technicalities. The fact is that we are doing work, as we just established, and there are movements that are happening. Would you deny that? Would you look at the situation in the Middle East and tell me that things aren't moving? No, you wouldn't. So don't criticize Kamala here. She's 100% right. Things are moving. Movements are moving. Movements are moving, and they're creating more movements, which are also moving, in the end, resulting in additional movements. And that's what Kamala is getting at I think in this next portion of the sentence, where she says movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or result of many things. Now, this is brilliant and undeniably accurate yet again. The movements were prompted by or a result of. Now, if something is prompted by something else, then it is by definition a result of that thing. So isn't it redundant to use both words? Yes, but it's not untrue. That's the point. Kamala likes to use 2 or 3 words, sometimes 4 words in a row that all mean the same thing. And you can call it redundancy. I like to call it verbal generosity. She's providing us with many words, many more words than we need. And so you could kind of take your pick of the word that you like, and we have a word surplus now. And that's never a bad thing, especially in this economy. Prompted by, she says, or a result of many things. Okay, so these things that happened were themselves a result of many things. What kind of things? Many. Many things. Again, who could deny the truth of this statement? Who could look me in the eye with a straight face and tell me that there are not many things happening in the Middle East, which were all caused by other things that also happened? So, what's the alternative? Are you seriously going to tell me that there aren't many things occurring? Like all the people that are laughing at this alleged word salad, what are you trying to say? Are you going to claim that there's only one thing happening? Or no things? Don't be ridiculous. You're sitting over there judging Kamala Harris for her alleged lack of coherence, while at the same time, you're pretending that there aren't many things causing many other things to happen at this exact moment. So you're being a hypocrite. You should be ashamed. And now we get to the grand finale of this sentence. It all culminates in this, what I think really is a stunning rhetorical flourish. She says, quote, "The result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region." Our advocacy for what needs to happen. What exactly needs to happen? Well, who knows? That's not the point. Don't focus on semantics. The fact is that certain things need to happen, and we're advocating for those things. Would you prefer that we advocate for what doesn't need to happen? Is that what you're saying? So you accuse Kamala of being some kind of babbling, inarticulate midwit, and yet you're the one claiming that we should advocate for what doesn't need to happen, as opposed to Kamala's plan, which is to advocate for what does need to happen? I mean, give me a break. Kamala's point here is very clear. She's saying that we need to engage in advocacy in order to advocate for the things, the many things, that need to be advocated for, and most certainly not for the things that should not be advocated for, which is a remarkable insight. Now think about it. There's so much confusion and disarray in the Middle East. Indeed, in the entire world. Where's all this chaos coming from? Well, it happens because lots of people are doing things that don't need to be done and should not be done. So Kamala is now coming along and saying, hey folks, let's all do the good things rather than the bad things. And then everyone, turns and responds and asks, well, how many good things should we be doing? And Kamala says, many. We should do many of those things. And frankly, few, if not none, of the not good things. So her point is that if we do all the good things that we should do, then that will result in many other things which are also good, and which will themselves result in many other things that have been prompted by the things before them, which they are the results of. You see? You see what she's trying to say here? Now, you may listen to all of this, and you may laugh and sneer and claim that Kamala is just babbling mindlessly. But if you really listen, if you listen with an open mind, unburdened by what has been, you can perceive the great wisdom in her words. If only we would heed them, we could have peace on earth. And that is why, in a great twist, this time around, it is Kamala's critics who are today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.